Good number.
Yeah. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Building Site, episode 21, with me, Malcolm Sparks, and Jeremy Taylor. Hi, Jeremy.
Hey, Malcolm. Nice to see you.
So today on Building Site, we're going to carry on with our card application, and we're going to try and build up a bit of styling. Last time we got a toolbar working, and since then we've Joanna and I have done she's done a bit of work on putting our user list. I'll show you by setting up a card. So to get card running, we load up the depths. It's a closure project, and fire it up. A closure script. And what's that saying? I've got some warnings to do some npm install there, which I guess you have to do from time to time. So Jeremy, did you see the David Nolan video at, what was it called, Emerging Technology? Did you see that yet?
I did, yeah. I thought it was a nice, solid exposition. I wasn't sure whether it was worth watching, given I'd already read the blog post, but it definitely was.
Yeah, I really liked it, and I thought it was a really nice presentation about the perspective of closure development, and the certainly the ability to redef things in the REPL and have that kind of control over the system, seeing your program as a system that you're building from inside. So I think is this running? Let's run it again. No, it's saying it's already running. I'm going to try that again. Or maybe I'm running another Emacs somewhere. Yeah, I could be. 1 second. I think I was. Okay. That was left over from this morning. So let's run that again. Okay. And we'll start a browser, and we'll run it on this local host. Yeah, so what we did this morning was add this JSX component, which we're building. Okay.
So that's something you're building in JavaScript.
Yeah, we were building that in JavaScript, and that was in our JSX directory, and this is one we just stole from Tailwind UI. We haven't completed it yet, but it was kind of nice to how quick it was to steal this, and we put in some properties. So yeah, that was good. So now we'll go back to all cards. We'll go back to a card. So I think this Sunday Thoughts was a good one. And yeah, this was just an article. Okay, and last time, I think it was last Monday, we got it working again, but with a different model. So we can go into our production REPL, and we can, and we can see that this has got a type of article. So this has gone in, and these are the children. And if you move one child to another, I think this is persistent. You could see it should be starting in 4A and then A2, which it does. Okay, so the idea here is to turn it into more like a card. So we were going to look at Tailwind UI. and we're going to steal a card. Did we already do this?
No, we didn't. We talked about was it a table or something? Or
Yeah, we did.
there was something you liked that was
Oh,
card-like.
we did want to have a table of cards, but I think we wanted to work on. Oh yeah, we were looking at making a table of cards. Actually, it wasn't that. All cards. There it is. There's the menu. We were kind of looking for a nice table of cards, but I think the rendering of well, in my head anyway, I'd got the idea that we were going to make this really nice. So I think we should work on this individual one, and then we can work on the other one. And if we just, where it says search hello world, that was just a, I'll take that off. So
You can't see it on the stream anyway because it's obscured by your webcam view.
oh, you can't see it. Well, that's, yeah, I can.
Can you add opacity to the webcam overlays?
I guess I can. Yeah. Put a filter on.
Maybe leave that for episode 22.
Yeah, that will be the next episode, the next tweak. So yeah, here we have a thing I think called search. You know, I don't know where it is. We had a. Doesn't really matter. We had a. This is a view. Goes into the menu, and the menu has this, foo. So at some point, I think we need to bring in the. Seems to be working. Hello. Where is the foo being used? It's definitely where it says placeholder here. Oh, but it was in the nav bar. Here we are. Search. Here, that's kind of what we were doing. So I'll. And then that's gone back, so I'll pop that in. Remove. Foo. Okay. Yeah, so let's find a good card that we can copy. I think we did find one. Was it data display? This one looks good. I like this one. What's the difference? This has got the grey banding. And this has got a few looks okay, and what's the difference? Left aligned, that's left aligned. As opposed to what? With inline actions. Left aligned in card. Oh, that's a 2 column. I think we would get the top one. What do you think?
I personally actually really like the stripes. But,
okay.
Because it just makes it feel more like
more like a card. Yeah. Okay. Well,
amazing.
Let's go and do that one. So I'll copy that, and we go to create a new file under our JSX, and we'll call that card. We'll call this a card. We will add a few semicolons to stop Emacs complaining, and we will export the card in the JSX. We don't need to export it there. And then let's have a little card view at the top of this. So where we have an individual card, we have nav card there. We're going to have this render card. So this card view, we could add our card here, so we could put in a little reagent thingamajig, and that would really have the card. That would be the props of the card. That's right. Not sure why we have. That's because it's recursive. Not sure we need that. Okay, and then this card would have to be imported in. We can do that with still under Slate. Okay, we'll bring card in, and that should have worked, but it didn't, because I think if we go back to the card JSX, we just got to put a props in here, and then we're done, or not. Yeah, it worked, of sorts. So, did we want to put any? I'll put a little bit of. I'll put a little div around it with a little bit of. Not quite sure. We're not seeing why there's not the border there.
You need to wrap it.
Yeah, I know I didn't do that. Yeah, there we are. So we've got a nice little card there with some banding. Okay, so Margot Foster. Now this is where we need to set this to be the title. If I render the previous card, what I suggest we do is, oh hang on, why haven't we got both cards? Maybe I've got to, I think I've got to turn this into either a div or a partial. Well, we could wrap that under there. Okay. So right. So we've got this still working, and I guess what we could say is we'll eventually not have to have render card. I don't know. This is all in the Slate namespace, and is there a card? I think it might be better to do all this in. But anyway, let's do baby steps.
So you go to the top level fields first, then just get this rendering.
Yeah. So I want to know what's actually in this. I think
the fields aren't going to be sorted.
Oh no, we could sort them. I think that might work. Here we are. Oh, is it? Something like that. Here we are. So, but then it gets converted to, so that's what card looks like. I wonder if we can access title like that. Although I did sort of think, if we do a subscription, that the subscription, Jeremy, can be something that decides it has to present the properties view of a card, the React properties, which typically don't have namespaces. So I wonder if we could have a set of subscriptions that do the job of figuring out from the data model what the model should be, which could be a tree. So the question is, rather than putting the properties as names in here, because we sort of have, that's kind of the job of a subscription. Let me show you what I mean. And
okay.
So
I know we discussed before. We had this not enough logic in the subscriptions.
Yeah. I guess that's where I'm going with it. So this previous one will keep. Let me just check my. All right. Okay. All right. And then this one will be a different view. So I'm going to call that card props, and that could be card props, because then in the subscriptions where we have card, and it would sort of look like, so we're saying this is what I'm saying, Jeremy, that we make a decision here. That would be the title of the card, and that's full control over the but it didn't. Yeah, here it is. So this is now gone. If we now inject, if we then print the properties, card props. I don't know where the well, it's got, oh no, because it has to be in a okay, partial. So this is what we're rendering. This is the React thing, and then we get to decide, because I think it's just awkward with React components if the properties were all fairly long with namespaced in them, and they don't really need to be, because what you've done is, it's a bit like when you do a Crux query and you project into a vector. You know, often you're just interested that this is number 2, this is, you know, just the relative positions in that vector are your results. You don't mind that you've lost a bit of so that was the thinking there, because I think it's going to be awkward if the properties all end up. So this is your last chance where you're really extracting the final tree, and you're trying to make it as sympathetic to the component developer as possible, which I think is a better way of putting it. You don't want to saddle the component developer with all the residue of namespaces, because especially you want the component developer to develop components and tell you that they want title, and they want, you know, these components should be developed in Storyboard and tested, and you know, there's almost, so most third-party components will just have these single names, so that feels, that's the feeling.
It does some good. So are you thinking the component should be aware of which keys exist?
Yeah, that does.
So the sort order shouldn't matter, basically.
Yes, the sort order shouldn't matter. Yeah, yes, exactly. If you look at this person's Margot Foster there, this is going to be the props title. That's all you want to put in. You don't want to put sort of jux.card.out. You don't want to do this sort of thing. If you're doing, you as a component developer will just pick a word like title, and you would then push back on the. That's what I'm saying. Most components will already have a set of these that you say, right, if you change the property title, this will change. So if we make that title, change that, that should be Sunday Thoughts, which it is. So that's the first one done. So, and then that would have to be an editor, but that's where we'll use Slate. So, yeah, I don't have a lot of time left, I don't think. Maybe another 10, 20 minutes.
Okay.
But I think that was good. Let's try and do the subtitle now. So, oops. I think we have why did the compilation fail? Oh, because I must have done something in my cut and paste. Okay, I've done. Sorry, man. Nice to have that one back. It's called Subtitle. Yeah. So changing the subscription should be enough. Yep. I guess we will have type as well. Oh dear. We have site type there. I guess ID would be quite useful. So then that can be
Make it a link.
yeah, and make it a link.
Start.
We need to do that with an A tag, href equal props.id. No, we do it like that. And then it's props.id.
Maybe you can't use there's props.id in it inside of the angle brackets.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that supported syntax? Or is the white space significant actually?
No, I don't know. Oh, what's it doing?
Or is it that props.id is some special thing? Maybe it needs to be card ID or something. Crux ID.
No, I don't think so. I think it's possibly it's missing from the data. Here, there's no. Oh.
That's impossible.
No, it's not. It's just I didn't save. So that is definitely there, and now we can make it a link. That's definitely possible.
Okay.
I'll have to learn this mode. So now that is actually, yeah, that will be a link, and it will go to there, which
nice.
will one day will have a nice. Okay. We don't need the salary expectation. And we might as well turn the.
Wait, are we? I mean, there is already a title and a subtitle on that thing. Applicant information and personal details and application. That's the title and subtitle, isn't it? So we could use those slots on this UI.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking. I've used that slot.
Yeah, above the table it says applicant.
Oh yes, oh absolutely. Yeah, that would make sense. So applicant information, that's props.title, and that one is. And then the ones lower down can be editors, and perhaps you could have a mode where you can hide the metadata. Yeah, so this is looking more like a card, and it would be nice to have attachments to a card. And I like this idea that you'd have a paperclip icon. But we, for now we don't have any attachments, so we'll just. Oh, it's just so difficult to use. I mean, like, I'm sure that there's an easy way of doing it. Right. Oh no. Can you not do comments in HTML like that?
No, that looks right. I think it's
Just
not
did it at the
picked
wrong
up.
place.
It's just the highlighting's messed up.
Yeah.
That should work.
Doesn't like it. No, it doesn't like it. I guess it's because JSX has its own comment, and that might be a.
Oh, like a JavaScript comment.
Yeah. So you do block comments. So, which makes sense because you can then put in comments that are. So that's a JSX comment, and then it's. There we go. Cool. So no attachments, and then there would be a whole load of text, which I believe we want to do with this as another. So this looks like the description list. So after the description list, maybe that's a description list in a div, and then we can do another div down here. I'll say content class name equal whatever is being used to style or that, I guess. I don't know how to change. Oh, I probably do know how to change the text of the content. It's going to be, I guess, similar to this paragraph. I'll put a paragraph in here. But not sure how it gets its. I'm not sure why it's not getting any margin. Oh, possibly because we need to put it in one of these ones. There we are. I think I need to change the indent. Oh dear. Indent. No. Oh dear. No, I don't know how to send the indent to 2. Is it local? I don't know. I'll leave it for now. Okay. And then the content. No, but we need to then have the. We could perhaps get the content draggable first before we make it an editor, or the other way around. What do you think, Jeremy?
Well, with the draggable, is that something you'd want to do in this component, or would you want it to be like a subcomponent?
A subcomponent. Well, the drag drop. I mean, how have we done it here? We've put a drag drop context in. So I think it's quite easy to do with JSX because the awesome documentation has it in. So I might work on that.
And the last time we spoke about that, you pointed out this thing with the nested dragging.
Oh yeah, the tree view. I'm not sure. Yeah, we think that's possibly less well documented and maybe just built on top, and we might be able to achieve the same. I'm not sure. We'll have to have a look at it. But I think just getting basic drag and drop looking and trying to drag things into other areas, because it's not just outliners that we want to create. We want to be able to drag these paragraphs into potentially other targets. I don't know is the answer.
Like dragging things between cards.
Yeah, possibly, but also dragging things into tables or images or. I'm not. I think last time we had a conversation that we want to learn Atlassian's awesome drag and drop first, get a bit of expertise and not have it hidden away from us. Did you have a thought about that?
Well, yeah, we didn't experiment with multiple droppables.
No.
And how that work.
Yeah, I think well, I'm only confident to get what we've got working at the moment and then to iterate again. I think it would be hard to, if I think we can build up to it.
The point of the drag and drop wasn't for within a card, was it? It was, I mean, it is important to be able to reorder blocks of text, but normally people do it with cut and paste. They don't do, like in Word or something, you don't do drag and drop. I guess in my mind the priority for drag and drop was cards in a Kanban.
Yeah, although I know that we don't do it in Word, or Word does have a view mode. It does have a number of views. I think you can view an outline and then you can drag and drop when you drag and drop headings around. I seem to recall Word having that feature. And the way I'm thinking about writing documents is very much that you have a set of thoughts that you really are trying to order. And Word presents the traditional typewriter interface to you, where you're going to like write everything down linearly. Whereas I like the idea of zooming in on a chapter and then zooming into a section and then being able to zoom out and see the ideas of those sections and to work on the structure.
So if someone's like, I'm just trying to think of like a journey. Like if someone's writing a few paragraphs, you do want to make it easy for them to reorder those paragraphs without resorting to cut and paste. They should be able to use the first class paragraph reordering.
Yeah, so some of the activity is reordering your thoughts and reordering your paragraphs. Because I'm really interested in this top-down building of a blog article where you're right, you can start off, you need a beginning, a middle bit and an end bit, and you need just and each section in your middle bit has to have a single idea, and then you break that idea and I think it would improve my writing if it makes it a more, because we want these individual paragraphs to contain a single idea so they can be linked to. I think I think that's part of it, but lots of things do have structure, and I guess we're not trying to create a word processor here, really. Just this can be drag and drop of anything. There could be images, and you just decide you want the image to belong to another paragraph or to be on its own. What do you think?
When you talk about drag and dropping images, it reminds me in Word when you could drag an image like in the middle of columns and it would all reflow around it, and you sort of creating like a 2D. You're designing like 2D layout. Really.
Yeah.
But that's definitely a non-goal.
I mean, I'll be on. I'll be quite forthright and say I really don't like the way that document editing and document tools are done. And one of the examples is you have a heading. Now, the way Word does it is that you say, well, a heading is just some bold text, and in your brain you associate the heading with the subsequent paragraph of text. But the way Word sees it is just, it's just a big kind of another kind of block that happens to have a style of heading, and it sits there. And I mean, I guess it gives users the most freedom. But I have an engineering view of a document that if it has a heading, then it is a heading of a section. The section itself is a heading. So the section is the container. And the container has a heading as a title, which we call a heading, but it belongs. The heading does not belong to the previous paragraph. It belongs to the subsequent paragraphs in that, in that containment hierarchy. It certainly doesn't belong on its own. Images might do, or figures might do. A figure could belong, but normally you might have a section would be an idea, a figure containing a diagram explaining the idea or illustrating it, and then another paragraph, and that would be the container. And that container itself could be something that would contain an idea or a set of ideas, and that container is the thing that you move. When you divorce and separate the idea of a heading from the contents of that section, that makes no sense. That's what I'm getting at, really. I don't like the way that, Word is flat, essentially. Everything is a kind of flattened set of blocks. And I don't think that works in a graph, because the beautiful thing about a graph database is that you can think of a section as being a mini document that is still a document in its own right, but is contained by another document. But it has self-similarity. It has a title, might have a subtitle, but it has children. And it just works all the way down. And books are really close to that idea, and a book is just a collection of chapters, and a chapter is a collection of sections, and So I like the hierarchical block model of a document. And it works, and a book can be a volume of a set of volumes, and a set of volumes might be in a series, and a series might be in a library, or on a shelf.
So in terms of how this renders, we're going to have cards containing paragraphs. Those paragraphs themselves could have titles. We just choose not to display them.
Yeah, well, yes, I suppose the paragraph, if it's a type of paragraph, then it doesn't have a title, it doesn't need one. Yes, that's right, if it's a paragraph it doesn't have a title, but if it's a section it does.
So if a paragraph does have a title, just by virtue of...
Well, what a paragraph I don't think does have a title, because if it does, then it's a section which has children, and one of the it's a section with a single child.
Okay.
I mean, you could say a section can have its own text content, but I don't see the need for it to do so, because
yeah, I think that's wrong.
But I think it might have a leader, or you might have a synopsis or a summary of that paragraph that might only be visible if you're viewing the section from higher up, and when you zoom in, when you print the book or when you read the book, you see the whole expanded, but you don't see abstraction summaries. But when you're reordering and organizing your thoughts and trying to reorganize the chapters, you can summarize a chapter and you can add that as metadata to that grouping, that chapter container. And I think for me, that's one of the reasons why this card system makes a better document editor than a word processor, because I think the word processor copies the metaphor of the typewriter where everything is linear text and there is no containment hierarchy, because everything is essentially flat series of pages, because that's how we've always written documents.
Yeah, it's just like comparing a low-level language to a high-level language, isn't it? So text is very low-level.
Yeah, and I think it's because I want the ability for individual paragraphs to be linkable, I guess, and to contain links and to be linked to, so that you can easily quote them, or they can be used in other explanations. So you might have a paragraph that describes a closure function, and it might be a kind of docstring, but it's actually part of a larger piece of text. Or it might be that you bring in some data table or a chart that lends weight to your argument, but that chart itself is produced in another part of the system, like a business intelligence tool that you've added to it, and you've queried that, and you've got a nice chart, and you say, oh, that chart would look great in my document, and you simply just link to it. It's not no big deal. And you link, by linking to it, the chart, you're linking to the thing that produces the chart. I mean, how many scientific documents are there that have a nice table produced or a nice bar chart, but there is no, it's just a copy and pasted PNG. It's not even a vector graphic at that point, and are never going to go back to the source. And that again is an example of premature exporting of data, which we see all the time. The copying of data from one data silo to another is a sort of
it's a loss of fidelity.
It's a lossy operation, and especially it's a lossy operation if you don't retain provenance links back to the original. A copy, you then have a thing and the copy of the thing, and if then somebody copies the copy of the thing and then the thing changes, who tells the owner of the copy of the thing that the thing has changed, and who tells the owner of the copy of the thing that the copy of the thing has changed? It was just, and then everything becomes stale and out of date, but you can't tell which is which. So I feel as much as possible there should be one golden source for every point, data graph, everything, and that you can then build all kinds of projections. I mean, all programmers get this about not repeating yourself, because programmers get hit with the consequences of their discrepancies, of the duplication. But because the tools in WordCraft are just lesser tools than we have as programmers, they just have to put up with the endless copying of text. I mean, the amount of times that I've sat down with printed Word documents and trying to visually diff between them and all those kind of things, it just are what people who work with documents are just used to, but they shouldn't.
It's the one thing computers were supposed to help us with.
Yeah, and the answer to this isn't just to teach everybody Git. I mean, that's the other thing to it. This is about trying to create something that is broader than what the problem Git is trying to solve. I mean, Git is overly successful. It wasn't ever meant to be anything more than a tool to help the maintainer of the Linux kernel maintain patches. It's a kind of Linux kernel patch maintenance tool, but it's successful because it lives in a vacuum where there are no tools that are remotely as good as it, which speaks volumes about the space and the lack of tools as it does to the quality of the Git tool. So there we are.
I was just going to say hypertext and hypermedia. Like, a lot of people throw these words around as if they're like done, or especially hypertext.
Yeah.
It's name of an established protocol, but the reality is it's
not even started, or it's not. Yeah, it's nowhere near done. It's just it's at version 0.1 and never been improved. And yeah. So that will be a lot of fun. Yeah, this is really good how this scrolls actually. I never noticed this. Oh, this.
Which bit you change the screen?
Oh yeah, I know. Well, I did. There we are. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a nice animation. Like I spent a lot of time looking at 2D animations, and it seems like they've done a good job.
Yeah. I think that's the beautiful aspect of it. They spent a lot of time trying to work out how to make it look good, which is definitely half the battle, definitely. So, yeah, I think that wraps up that episode. I think I'm going to commit, and we say that we've. I'll put it to add JSX card. So yeah, I might have a little play around with this, trying to, or maybe next time we can just try and get the content rendered, and then the next time we can make it drag and droppable. But we have all the logic, so it shouldn't take too long. Exciting stuff, and then we can start, I think, using it.
Yep.
All right.
Good. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Well, on that note, I am going to stop the streaming. Thanks everybody for joining, and sorry for all of the technical glitches we've had recently and ongoing, but we're trying to get better. So thanks for your support, and see you next time. Bye bye.
See you soon.